Okay, so ever since the release of Star Wars The Last Jedi back in December of 2017, we have seen this great divide between Star Wars fans, if not more than an actual Star Wars divide. A large chunk of the Star Wars community was very well annoyed with the direction by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly what they were doing with the sequel trilogy at that point in time, some years ago. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, I think that there's pretty much no doubt in saying that it was indeed creator Rian Johnson, writer and director Rian Johnson, that really derailed the franchise. Some of you guys out there will disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. Hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I totally welcome that below in the comments. If you guys like The Last Jedi, that's perfectly fine and okay. Everybody has their own, view on Star Wars. So, when we look at what Rian Johnson did to the sequel trilogy, in my eyes, it really did derail the sequel trilogy and everything Star Wars. And not just that, it also really divided the fans. It really created this tension between fans on those who actually support the Disney Star Wars films full on, and those who actually dislike the Disney Star Wars movies. Now, of course, you got another group where there's a handful of fans that like only some of the projects and really dislike other projects. And I kind of fall into that territory where when I look at the Disney Star Wars films, I really can't say that I really like The Rise of Skywalker from start to finish. That movie was like an up and down roller coaster for me, and it really had a lot of issues. Now, with that being said, what's really intriguing all about, the future of Star Wars here all has to do with what Disney's Bob Chapek has been doing. However, what's really intriguing all has to do with Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy, where since the release of The Rise of Skywalker and the very end of the saga by George Lucas, both Disney and Lucasfilm have been focused on the future of Star Wars and what to do for the Star Wars community in order to reunite the Star Wars fandom once again. Now, it's described that before and after the premiere of The Rise of Skywalker, many interviews were given to the creators of the franchise, including writer and director Rian Johnson, where at one point in time, Rian Johnson was questioned about The Last Jedi and Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy, where Rian Johnson was able to state that Kathleen Kennedy had discussed with him to create a new trilogy in private before even letting Disney know about these plans, and that Johnson revealed that Kathleen Kennedy wanted him to become a part of a new trilogy at the time, since Kathleen Kennedy wanted to build something from the ground up that would focus away from the lore created by George Lucas. So let's stop right here for a second. So, going away from the vision by George Lucas, breaking the philosophy, breaking his traditions, that to me only sounds like it was going to take a turn for the worse for Star Wars. In my eyes, you can't mess with George Lucas's vision and the overall structure of Star Wars. To me, you have to stick to it and create your own little take on that and stay within that little universe. Now, Johnson unveils that he loves George Lucas, however, Kennedy wanted to shift away from his vision with his new trilogy by creating a blank canvas, and that this was also partially his idea as well. Not just that, but Johnson was able to say that Kennedy didn't want Rian to use any of George's ideas for The Last Jedi, other than that Luke was a recluse, and that's it. Rian revealed that Kennedy specifically instructed Johnson to not use any of George's ideas and concepts for the most part in The Last Jedi. So here's the thing about Rian Johnson, is that Rian Johnson, at least in my eyes, almost comes off like a puppet of Kathleen Kennedy in a sense where Kennedy is pulling the strings. If we really want to take a specific look at Star Wars, obviously, the sequel trilogy had a lot of ups and downs. The Force Awakens, when it came to its production, it originally, in case you guys didn't know this, in the early stages, it was originally going to be focused primarily on Luke and Rey from start to finish of the movie. That to me sounds more intriguing, because that would have given us a better opportunity for Luke to be the Luke that we love in The Last Jedi and even in The Rise of Skywalker. They could have gotten a nice head start by Luke just being a character from the get-go in the sequel trilogy, alive and well, not a recluse per se, and actually on an adventure with Rey. Now that to me, it sounds like it would have been a very interesting story to actually just fulfill and to actually take it forward from there. But they didn't pursue that. Instead we got what Disney gave us, and I think that there could have been so much more to it. It just makes you wonder, simple little corrections could have really brought the sequel trilogy on the right path. Shifting Luke Skywalker in a different way in The Force Awakens, I think would have truly helped. And not just that, I think that doing something more with the character of Snoke, rather than just bringing back Palpatine, could have very well helped something better by creating a new villain, overall. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one from night to moon.